imagining things. It is more expensive. Things are getting more expensive. But hey, you live in San Diego, so as you're waking up, I want to remind you of that this morning. It's going to be another beautiful day here in America's finest city.
And we can kind of laugh about it, right? If you don't cry about it, you can laugh about it, I guess. But yeah, this is America's finest city, and check out this view. Clear skies all around, and really makes for beautiful sunrises. Right now, we're looking at that early morning glow. The perks of being up at 6:01 on a Thursday. Our official sunrise time 6:52 and sunset at 6:16, which we will all get a chance to see because we are going to stay clear skies. That's your forecast for today. It's starting off cool, but then we're warming up quite dramatically over the next few days. I'll get into all those details coming up. Let's get a check of traffic now with Jenny.
Well, good morning. It's going to be a quick one. Travel times look pretty good. You can see a little bit of a buildup on the Coronado Bridge, but overall it's fine. You know, I mentioned this crash on the 5 earlier. This is impacting the southbound side right at about Manchester. So you're leaving the Encinitas area. You're probably going to notice some crews off to the side. What you will not notice are any delays continuing south through Solana Beach and Del Mar. Everything is nice and clear.
Good to hear, Jenny. Thank you so much. Well, this morning we are focusing on your safety as violent crime is up in our county. Local leaders are taking new steps to curb gun violence, including cracking down on untraceable ghost guns.
The state is also taking legal action against gun makers, including one with a retail store here in town. News 8's Evan Ronnie live outside the county administration building now to explain more on this. Good morning, Evan.
Good morning. That's right. On the state and county level, officials are trying to take action against those so-called ghost guns, guns that can be essentially purchased online in a kit, put together, and then used without any serial number or background check needed. Now, according to California law, you still need to get that serial number and background check done, but the lawsuit that's being made on the state level accuses these gun manufacturers of not specifically letting people know that they even have to go through those measures in order to have a legal gun on them. Opponents of the legislation that the county announced yesterday, they say this just goes against allowing law-abiding citizens from obtaining guns. Now, take a listen to what Nathan Fletcher had to say yesterday at that county announcement.
We want to prohibit the possession and distribution of parts without serial numbers that are used in the creation and possession of ghost guns. We want to prohibit the 3D printing of firearms or parts, and we want to ban untraceable guns and keep them off the streets.
So the civil complaint made at the state level takes aim at 3 gun manufacturers, one with a retail store in San Diego. The complaint says those manufacturers sell ghost gun kits that allow people to make their own untraceable gun without explaining the legal requirement in California to apply for that serial number and complete a background check. On the county level, leaders announced yesterday a ban on ghost guns in addition to new countywide storage standards. It's based on similar legislation passed by the city council last month. Now, the push comes amid a rise in crime using ghost guns on the state and local level. A shooting in the gas lamp earlier this year was traced back to a ghost gun, and law enforcement says they've seized 169% more guns than back in 2019. They say those are guns that haven't been registered with a serial number. Now, again, proponents say that this would help protect our streets, of course, and the people on the streets. They also say it would go to protect law enforcement. However, the critics say this would do nothing to stop people who are trying to obtain a gun from getting it. But again, that state complaint is going to target 3 gun manufacturers, one with a retail store here in San Diego. The county board of supervisors will vote on that new ordinance. That'll take place next week on Tuesday, I should say, at that next county board of supervisors meeting. From the county administration building, I'm Evan Irani, News 8.
Evan, thank you. Later today, the community will come together to remember the UPS driver and pilot killed in that plane crash in Santee. A public candlelight vigil is planned for 7 p.m. here at the crash site. Meanwhile, streets are back open in the neighborhood. NTSB investigators have removed most of the wreckage and are piecing together what may have caused the plane to go down on Monday. Some residents are still finding unexpected items in their yards.
Now, this is some kind of a sensor, probably from the engine. And then this is a control knob for some device in the plane.
A preliminary report on the crash is expected to be released in about 2 weeks.
And now this morning, an FDA panel of experts will consider Moderna's request for emergency authorization of its COVID booster shot today. And tomorrow, they'll look at Johnson & Johnson's application for booster shots. Now, yesterday, the FDA staff released data showing J&J's booster does bolster antibodies. The White House says 7 million people have already received a Pfizer booster shot. That was approved for certain Americans last month. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is preparing for children ages 5 to 11 to receive the vaccine, and that approval could come as soon as next month. Now, this morning, 80% of eligible San Diegans are fully vaccinated. So take a look here. This is all according to county health officials. Places San Diego among the most vaccinated counties in the state and in the nation. Now, more than 2.2 million San Diegans are now fully vaccinated. Nearly 90% of San Diegans 12 and over have taken at least one shot. Eric.
Well, as the weather is cooling down, flu cases going up, especially this year. That's according to new data from the county. And a local pediatrician says there is another virus that's impacting children and teens. News 8's Chris Groh live at Rady Children's Hospital with everything we need to know here. Boy, a lot of things going around here, Chris.
Yeah, many of you at home may be wondering, with COVID-19 still very much going on, why are we talking about the flu? Well, that's because the county is basically identifying a key spike here. There were 6 cases at this time last year of the flu. As of Saturday, more than 190 cases. So again, that is alarming to those in charge of trying to keep track of that data, trying to make sure that we are notified of when something like the flu is going around and it's strong like we're seeing right now. And according to Dr. Mark Sawyer, again with Rady Children's Hospital, time to get the shot.
To avoid getting swept up in another big epidemic, we need to get everybody vaccinated now with their flu vaccine.
And of course, last year's low flu case numbers came when so many of us were inside due to COVID-19 restrictions as well as efforts to try to stop the spread. The prior 5-year average of flu cases at this time was about 128. So again, we're still higher than the previous 5-year average. Now, as for the flu vaccine, anyone over the age of 6 months old is eligible to get it. It takes about 2 weeks for people to develop immunity. Now, Dr. Mark Sawyer with Rady Children's Hospital also teaches at UCSD. He says this year is going to be especially challenging, not just because of the flu and the spike we're seeing of that, but also of other viruses that are making a comeback now that we're congregating together, like RSV amongst teens and kids. But COVID-19 continues to present the most challenges, especially when it comes to the flu in an instance like this. Take a listen to what else Dr. Mark Sawyer told us.
It's going to be impossible to tell the difference between influenza and COVID. And so if you want to reduce your chances of having to stay off of work or not go to school or whatever will happen if you have respiratory symptoms because people think you have COVID, then get a flu shot.
And for those who are especially urged to get a flu shot, those with pre-existing conditions, those who work in healthcare facilities, as well as those 65 and older. In fact, for those that are seniors, you can ask specifically for a senior flu shot. Now, for more information, you can go to our website, cbs8.com, and click on that story link. Eric and Netta.
Chris, thank you. Tar balls continue showing up on San Diego beaches almost 2 weeks after that massive oil spill off the coast of Huntington Beach. They've been reported in Oceanside and Encinitas and as far south as Mission Beach.
This is a great example of tar balls on the beach. As we can see right here, it's kind of looks like, I don't know, maybe rocks, maybe pieces of seaweed, but it is in fact tar, and you can even smell that.
As a foul smell, too. Authorities have not confirmed if they are connected to the spill, since tar balls can occur naturally. If you find any tar balls, you're urged not to touch them. There is a link to report any tar balls if you find them. We have it on our website, cbs8.com. Just click on the help button.
I didn't realize it was actually such a common thing that could happen here,
Right.
but a couple of my neighbors who surf all the time, they take baby oil with them to clean the tar off their feet just
There
in
you go.
case they step in it. So
If it gets on your tennis shoe, that's when it's really bad.
Ooh, and then you take that into the house? No, leave the shoes at the door. Yeah, it's one of those rules. But yeah, hopefully you're not stepping on that stuff. It's not a good thing. But looking at our skies this morning, we are looking at some nice looking conditions. This is our view from downtown San Diego. As you can see the beautiful lights of our city. No fog in sight. That's not going to happen really until next week. So we have a few days ahead of clear skies. That means sunshine for your afternoon. Right now it is starting off cool. 52 degrees under no cloud coverage. 43 in Poway, 48 in El Cajon. So we see a few more 40s this morning for inland areas. 36 in Ramona. Ramona, you got to 33 degrees yesterday. That broke a record. Campo, you stayed in the 20s yesterday morning. That also broke a record. So this morning it's a little bit warmer, 1 to 2 degrees warmer. But obviously for most of you, you're probably feeling that chill if you're outside. I would say a jacket would be a good idea if you do have to step out. 73 in Chula Vista for this afternoon, 73 in San Ysidro. So our afternoon is looking nice, a little bit warmer than yesterday. Downtown 73, 66 in La Jolla, 80 in El Cajon. So we're reaching the upper 70s, near 80 for now. Tomorrow we're going to look at widespread 80s. Saturday even warmer than that. So yes, we're in the middle of this warming trend. What I also want to point out though, surface level high pressure, that's coming in, and that brings us our Santa Ana winds. It'll be a weak event, but still 20 to 40 mile per hour winds expected tonight, but really peaking tomorrow morning. As you see, we're going to see relative humidity number taking a dive down to the single digits in some spots. Even places like downtown San Diego, I'm seeing in our forecast relative humidity will be down to about 15%. So we're all going to feel the dryness in the air. The lotion, I would say, is probably good to put on the skin. I don't know why I just quoted Silence of the Lamb thing, but there you go, Jenny.